How do you do all? Nick Hegarty here. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the materials I use to make pouches, and then we'll go on to the pouches that I actually make. Right, we'll start off with the new leather. It's a very strong leather, yeah, very supple. I started to use leather because there were quite a few people asking me if I could get leather to make pouches with, which, yes, you can get leather, but trying to source it on the internet is quite a difficult task. I mean, I wasted quite a lot of money actually purchasing different leathers, getting it sent to me and finding it wasn't very good for the job it was meant for. So I eventually bit the bullet, and I had a 300 odd mile round trip to a processing factory. I'd arranged to meet the workshop manager, and of course he took me round, and between ourselves we decided on some suitable leather. So I went home, took some samples home, tested it out, let a few people try it for me. I tried it, and it seemed very, very good. So that's where we are with the leather and how it came about. I then proceeded to cut pouches from it. It's worked out very, very well. It's very strong, yet very supple is this leather. I buy it in big full hide of leather. So that worked out very nicely. The pouches that I make from it come in 5 different sizes. Start with the biggest one, which is 70mm by 20mm. All, as you can see, very supple. The 70 by 20 is more suited for heavier bands and big ammo. We then go to the 65 by 20, which again is suited to heavy bands and decent size ammo. Usually people are using these with 10mm lead, 9.5 steels, a lot of people use them for as well. There's then the 61 times 18, which was mainly designed for 9.5 steel, but again people are using them with leads, 10mm leads. The 55 times 15 was mainly designed for 8mm steel. Again, people are having great success with those. And then the smallest one of all is the 44 times 14, which was initially designed by myself and Keith Dighton, which was made for 6mm ammo. Now people are using 6, 7 and 8mm in this. Again, it's personal preference really, but the leather is proving very, very popular at the moment. To find these pouches, you can purchase them off me, or you can get them directly off eBay. Simple task on eBay, just type in the search bar at the top Hegarty Slings, and it will take you to all the stuff that I sell on eBay, all the catapult related stuff. Right, that's the new range of pouches in leather. We'll then go to the microfiber pouches. There are lots and lots of microfiber pouches about now, but we always tend to stick with one that everybody knows. My microfiber is orange. It comes to me in massive big sheets of this, which again is sourced directly from a reputable seller. This is not a standard microfiber, it's a deluxe microfiber. The difference between a standard and deluxe is your standard microfiber is very, very flimsy and floppy. This deluxe has a more of a rigid, a slightly more rigid feel to it. You can actually feel it, but it's still very supple. It doesn't need any breaking in at all. Doesn't this? Again, this comes in all the sizes. 70 by 20, 65 by 20, 61 by 18, 55 by 15, and 44 by 14. The difference between the leather and the microfiber, well, they're both strong, very, very strong. They're both very, very supple. Neither of them take any breaking in at all. And it's really down to personal preference. There's no one better than the other. It's just personal preference to which you like to use. I think for a change, people are wanting to try the leather ones because there are so many microfiber on the market now. People are just wanting a change and just go on to leather. That's the only reason. But neither one is better than the other. What I have found with the leather ones is that the more you use them, the ball will seat and it actually forms indentations in the leather. So as you put your ball in, it goes in the same place all the time. Now, I've spoken to a couple of people about this and they totally agree. And a couple of friends of mine and myself came up with an idea that if you wet the pouch, you can pre-mold. And I don't know if you can see there, it molds to the ball. Wet it, hold it together, and it molds to the ball. Put your ball in like that, your ball in there, and it's perfectly seated within the mould that it's made. That's another good feature of the leather. This leather will mould. Not all of the leathers do, but it does. This one does. You can see back, and it molds to the ball. So every time you load your ball, you know that it's going in the correct place every time. They will mould themselves after use, but to sort of speed things up a little, you can pre-mould it by wetting it. Wet the pouch, put the ball in and hold it together with some sort of clamp. I used what is it, Bulldog. Clip it there, and they don't take long to dry, and then you've got a perfectly moulded pouch. It's moulded to your ball, and your ball's seated the same every time. Right, thank you very much for watching. Remember, if you do happen to fancy purchasing any of these, just simply type in the search bar on eBay, Hegarty Slings. Thank you very much.